Hello everyone. We need to talk about Reading Football Club. Now, why do we need to talk about them? Well, it's what's going on at the top of the football club. So they currently have an owner called Dai Young, who's been the owner of the football club since 2017. Dai Young bought the football club after completing the fit and proper owner's test on the second time of asking, and bought Reading the day before they played their playoff final against Huddersfield Town, which they'd ultimately lose. Had they won that game, had they won that penalty shootout because it went to penalties, they would have been in the Premier League. But since that's happened, Reading have had a few relegation scraps, like early on in Dai's tenure, and then coming out of the COVID pandemic, they had some financial issues, which ultimately saw them break profitability and sustainability rules in the EFL. And ultimately, they get relegated in 2023. They are now challenging for the playoffs in League One. However, whether they will get to the playoffs is another question, for two reasons. One, they're currently battling the likes of Leyton Orient and Bolton Wanderers, and even Huddersfield Town. Hi, me from the future here. So, Huddersfield Town lost to Stockport County 2-1. They are currently in League One, standing 9th on 64 points, and 6th place Leyton Orient stands on 72 points, same points as Reading. However, Leyton Orient are in 6th, which is a playoff position. However, Huddersfield Town only have 2 games to play, therefore they can get a maximum of 6 points. But because there's an 8-point gap between them and 6th, that means it's now mathematically impossible for Huddersfield to qualify for the playoffs. Before 3 p.m, it wasn't like that, and it turns out that it was recorded before all the Easter Monday games began. We will now resume your normal programming. Secondly, they're trying to get a deal by, April the 22nd. What's been going on? Well, Dai Young has actually recently failed a fit and proper owner's test, so therefore has to sell the club. He's been given a deadline, the deadline was at April the 4th, but because he couldn't get any deal sorted, they actually extended the deadline to April 22nd. And now, on the time of this recording, we actually have 11 hours and 55 minutes for him to complete that deal. Whether he'll complete it, we don't know, because so far, no one's heard anything lately on this deal trying to get through. I'm Reading, if this deal is not completed by April 22nd, then Reading will be suspended from the EFL. Well, from EFL League One, they will be suspended from the 3rd tier of English football. And that will be absolutely devastating, especially the fact that they're trying to get back into the 2nd tier, the EFL Championship. So to think, 8 years ago, they were a few penalty kicks away from making it to the Premier League. Now, their entire existence is at stake. Okay. Well, in terms of their existence, I mean, that's probably partially secure. Apologies. They're not in like the situation like Derby County were a few years ago where they went into administration. But Reading have had financial troubles as mentioned, and they've breached profitability and sustainability rules and suffered some points deductions over the years. And so now Dai Young is under pressure to sell the club in the coming hours as of recording, or Reading will be suspended. And from the supporters' side, they are not happy. They literally made a campaign called Sell Before We Die. Now, what does that mean in terms, for the EFL? Well, questions will be asked about their fit and proper owner's test again. There have been many questions regarding this test that they do when an owner comes to manage a club in the EFL. And so far, I mean, it's been okay. But there have been some absolute failures where the test allows really bad owners to come in. Steve Dale buying Bury for £1 back in December 2018. Bury out the EFL in 8 months. They were literally expelled from EFL League One, and now they play in the 10th tier. I think they play in the 10th tier anyway. And Bolton Wanderers, around the same time, nearly got kicked out of the EFL. Luckily, they managed to get a deal, unlike Bury, and they managed to live. But it seems like that there are problems with the fit and proper owners test in the English Football League, and many fans of EFL clubs have been stressing this for many, many, many years. Derby County, as mentioned, I don't know whether we mentioned them yet. I don't think we have. But Derby County, they went into administration in 2021, and they, who somehow managed to last for the entire 21-22 season, were, with their entire existence at stake. Luckily, on July the 1st, 2022, a deal was completed, and Derby, survived. Now looking to the present day, we've got Reading. And right now, things have not looked good under Dye, and they've been undergoing financial troubles, as mentioned. But yeah. The fit and proper owners test is what we were on, weren't we? The fit and proper owners test, as many fans have said, I would say the same thing, needs to be strengthened. And ultimately as well, of course, we have the question of the independent regulator coming in. Now, as far as I'm aware, this man or woman has not come in yet. But the independent regulator will be able to, have the power to really, oversee many things across English football and make sure that the game keeps its spirit. And also that no bad owners come in. Like the Premier League, for example. The Premier League are opposed to this. And, I mean, yeah. But this could just strengthen the fact that English football does need an independent regulator. And, because we've seen many clubs lately going through near non-existence. But hopefully things work out at Reading, and hopefully Dye can sell the club, and hopefully Reading can still keep going. Reading supporters can still keep watching their football clubs on a classic Saturday afternoon. If I said football clubs, I should just say football club. But as of now, as of recording, we have 11 hours and 49 minutes for a deal having to go through in order for this deadline to be met. But as of now, we've heard nothing. So let's hope that good news can come for Reading fans and for the football club as a whole. Bye now.